I'm there, I'm experiencing it. I know that paranormal phenomena is taking place. But at the same time, I'm thinking I'm under the guise of, some of this paranormal poltergeist research, I should say, where they're saying, well, it's something that's coming from the living person, and the prepubescent girl is the perfect person to be the conduit for this type of activity. And if there's any kind of drama between them and somebody else in the home, that could be festering in and manifesting itself as paranormal activity. And so for years, I thought that was probably what was going on, which is still fascinating to me. It's still just as fascinating as thinking that it's ghosts. But then the more that I found out the history of the property and of that area and some of the other paranormal phenomena that takes place in other houses on that street, then I don't really know where to go. So which is more likely and plausible in some of these scenarios? Is it people that are causing hauntings, or is it ghosts that are causing hauntings?
Well, then you're getting into different things now. As far as, different hauntings in different houses. I mean, you can have 2 or 3 different things going on at one time, but when it comes together, it might look like one thing. So you might have the poltergeist stuff happening with the 12-year-old, and then you might have some place memory happening because of whatever historical thing happened around there. And and then you might have something intelligent if it's reacting to you, but that's when you have to really start drilling into each one to find out exactly which one you're dealing with. It's a pain in the ass. I mean, I'll be honest with you, but it's tedious work, but that needs to be done.
Well, and the other part of it too is one can kind of beget the other. One is only going to serve to amplify the other.
Yeah. Well, if you have, for instance, if you've got something intelligent that's in the house that is scaring the 12-year-old, that's going to amp up her angst, and that might be heavier poltergeist activity. That might be something that, with the poltergeist activity, cues off the intelligent haunting, whatever that might be. Yeah, exactly. And when things like that happen, I like to bring in a medium as a tool, and I like to see if we can get a hold of the energies in the place and find out names, dates, places, and events. Researchable information, and see if that helps things out too. When I work with a medium, I know everybody says that you don't tell them what's going on, you just tell them the address and they show up. Well, I do that, but I also follow the medium with a camera. The medium is never by herself, so whatever she's reading, I have on film. If something happens while she's in the room, I have something now saying, well, the media was in the room, and what she is doing and what she is saying, is it cueing off the perfume bottle to fall? So it's good to have that data. I don't let the medium go off by herself. Also, because if she starts getting into something that might be intelligent and it starts to stress her, you have to understand and look at what your medium is doing. And if she's under stress, you want to pull her to let her calm down and recenter herself and see if she wants to continue, because some of those energies are really strong. And I've never been with a medium that has ever been hurt by any of the energies, because they're just energies, but their emotions, it stirs up emotions that will bother them that way physically. And I've never had a medium hurt.
I'm not trying to discredit what you were saying, and I'm not trying to cast any aspersions on you, but
no, that's fine.
You do have to kind of trust them and their ability and kind of let them know their own limits, because it's hard for you, being an outside person and not having their gift, to know exactly when those situations do get out of control. Like to
answer that, I have a medium that I've been using for 12 years. So she's the only person I bring out.
So you're in tune with.
So I know who she is. I know what she's capable of. I know her tells, and she and I work well together. She knows I want names, dates, places, and events. I don't want to say, well, I got a B word. Is there a B word? I don't want to hear that stuff.
Right.
I want, if you could pull it up, that's great. If you can't, that's fine too. But let's not just It's a C word. It's yeah, okay. I don't want that stuff. That doesn't mean that might not be data, but it's not data that you can research.
Right. You want something a
So
little bit more.
you can put that up to the side and say, okay, she got some of this reading over here, so that might be, level B or level C research stuff. But you want to go for the stuff that's, it was Bob Thomas, 1823. Okay, let's see let's see where we can go with that.
Which I think that, if you stay out of the way, that stuff will come. But the only reason I mention that is because one of my usual co-hosts, Stephanie Burke, is a psychic medium. And if I ever tried to, guard over her like that, she'd kick my ass, because when we are on an investigation, she's there to look out for me. She's the one that comes warning to me, come to me to give me warning, saying, you better stop doing what you're doing. Trust me, I know better than you do. And I'm like, okay, yep, all right, fine. And then I usually don't listen anyway. But she has my best interests at heart, and just I'm too stubborn to listen.
And the medium that I use, I mean, she has her best interest at heart too for me as well, and we're constantly talking back and forth. I'll say, oh, are you okay? What can you get more? Can you drill more into what you're seeing here or you're experiencing here? We talk back and forth. It's not just, I'm not like looming over her. I don't do that. I do frustrate her sometimes, because she'll ask me questions for clarification, and I want her to pull it. And it's not because I'm trying to be difficult. It's just that if she pulls it, I'm not giving her the answer. And there you can't really question how did she get the information? Did you ask her an open-ended question or a yes or no question? No, she's pulling the information, and it's documented.
I'm going to ask you a question, and it's a bit of a loaded question, but feel free to don't hold back at all. And that question is, as somebody who has studied this phenomena, as somebody who has put in the time to become a parapsychologist, and I know, working with Lloyd Auerbach, I know how he feels about this situation, because I've heard him talk about it for years. Are these armchair, weekend warrior paranormal investigators, are they hurting? Are they doing more damage with what they're doing than good with the approach that they're taking?
Well, to answer that question, I mean, I can't say that they're all hurting things, because I don't know all the different levels and knowledge levels of who's going out there.
Right.
But for the most part, the folks that don't have any background, at least to know what they're doing, what the history is. I mean, because I'm a firm believer in, you study the past so you can move things forward. So you got to know the history. So, the person that doesn't want to put the time in to, at least understand, the forefathers and why we do things the way we do, and, and look, and take the initiative to go look at, the God helmet. What did it do? What is it? How did it help us? Looking at Dr. Stevenson about, children and past lives, and all this stuff. So, I mean, you have to educate yourself to know, because there's so many different levels of this stuff.
Because
so the answer to your question is, I don't know. I couldn't give you a percentage. I know the ones that I've dealt with, and it's not that they're going out and doing it to be vindictive or try to mess people over. I mean, they have good intentions in heart. It's just they don't have the background.
Right. And I'm not trying to disparage anybody by saying that they're going out there and making it about themselves, but I mean, a lot of them do. We do know that to be the case.
Like that.
Right, exactly. But the way I look at it is like this. If the first dentist that you ever go to as a kid is just a mean person that just wants to rip every tooth out of your mouth with a pair of pliers, then you're going to forever have a bad taste in your mouth, no pun intended, about a dentist. So the same thing can happen with a paranormal researcher. If the wrong person is the one that you deal with, it could cast aspersions toward how you feel about every other one.
I agree.
So that's the problem that people don't understand, is that when you are going out there and doing this, you can say how much you want that you're representing yourself and you're representing your group, but sadly you are actually, I mean, not sadly if you're doing things right, but you are speaking for an entire community of people that you can just as easily screw them over without any meaning to, just by not being as professional as you can be.
Well, yeah, that's right. And, the public doesn't have the knowledge level as a researcher does. So they go by perception, and they figure, the last team that came out there, botched things. Then they're going to figure that everybody, they might figure that everybody they talk to doesn't know what's going on. And that's not the case.